Day 2 of CinemaCon is happening right now, where we are going to get updates and panels from Lionsgate and Warner Brothers. Lionsgate actually just wrapped up their panel, so that's exactly what I'll be doing here for you guys, is breaking down everything Lionsgate revealed at CinemaCon and some of the things they decided not to reveal. You a Michael Jackson fan looking forward to that Michael movie? It ain't looking good for us right now. Timestamps in the description if you want to skip around, and don't forget to check the CinemaCon playlist on the channel so you can be up to date for every studio and their announcement this week. Just did Sony's panel yesterday. That was a bumpin'. But alright, kicking things off with Lionsgate CinemaCon panel, they actually should have just renamed this to the John Wick Cinematic Presentation, because literally half of the announcements that they gave out were John Wick related projects. They started off with an extended look to the Ballerina movie. We've already gotten several trailers online. Attendees there did get to see a clip of Ana de Armas in action. Everyone describes her just being very fluid and easy fitting into this universe. The only kind of major thing they revealed that wasn't present in some of the other trailers and footage is that John Wick is kind of her bad guy in the movie. He's been specifically hired to take her down, and he does offer her a chance to give up before they fight, but obviously Ana de Armas' character isn't going to do that. I'm very curious how they're going to pull off a fight scene where she's going to be able to escape from John Wick, the Baba Yaga. It also looks like you should expect John Wick to actually have a decent part in the movie and not just be a cameo role, so that's kind of cool to hear. From there, they did announce John Wick 5 is officially happening. There's been rumors and reports, but they announced it on stage that they finally have settled on a story for this fifth movie. Chad Stahelski will be returning to direct. That's all we were given for this fifth John Wick movie. I am so willing to see how they could possibly top what everything that just happened in John Wick 4, because I think that is like the modern day ultimate action movie. And Keanu Reeves has been very open in interviews that he's not getting any younger, and it's becoming harder and harder for him to perform those John Wick stunts. I'm so curious how they plan to follow up that last movie. Just please don't ruin that John Wick legacy. Something else that I found super interesting is they actually announced a John Wick animated prequel movie. It'll actually be following the story that's been teased in some of the John Wick movies, of where he was given an impossible task to be able to let go of the assassin life. We're gonna see that story. It'll be directed by Shannon Tyndall, who brought us Kubo and the Two Strings. The reason I'm honestly really looking forward to this is because it's about time we start dipping our toes into R-rated animated movies that don't just have to be about over-sexualized themes like Sausage Party or Spermageddon. I've been saying it's time we experiment with R-rated animated movies that just have like excessive blood, violence, action, cool stories. John Wick might be the thing to do that. I will admit also, though, there's some confusion. Some people are using the word anime, some people are using the word animated, so this could be 2D animated. Maybe they'll go into the 3D route. I would honestly like them to go into the 3D route, because I would like that to be a new era in animated movies, but we'll wait and see. That's curious how that'll turn out. And the last John Wick universe announcement is just an update on their spin-off movie titled Caine, where it'll be directed and starring Donnie Yen, who played the blind assassin that we meet in John Wick 4. His movie will begin filming later this year, and it'll be released to us the following year. I'm slightly more looking forward to this spin-off than I am for Ballerina, a blind assassin, and the things he had to do in John Wick 4 just to be able to fight back. That's just interesting on its own. So if they can implement more of those mechanics into a spin-off, I'ma watch it, because it's gonna feel like I'm watching Daredevil the Assassin movie. Which John Wick Cinematic Universe movie are you most looking forward to? From there, they moved on to talk about a Stephen King thriller entitled The Long Walk. This is actually based on Stephen King's first ever published novel of the same name, where it takes place in a dystopian version of our reality, where the biggest contest is people who get on a road and see who can walk the furthest. Doesn't sound that thrilling, but people loved what they were seeing in the trailer. The movie is starring Mark Hamill as the villain and David Johnson, who we recently saw in Alien Romulus, where the footage says Hoffman and Johnson are the leads. The story is set in a military state, and whenever someone stops walking, they are killed. If you walk under 3 miles an hour, you die. You have to walk until only one person is left. Hamill looks like a great bad guy. Hoffman and Johnson's acting looks amazing. Honestly, not the kind of movie I'd ever expect to really be that interesting, but hearing all the people kind of rave that it does actually seem a little thrilling, and makes me wonder how long I would last walking. I'm gonna be curious to check this one out. Next up, they focused on their next Hunger Games prequel entitled Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. Now, although we just had a Hunger Games prequel come out called Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, this movie isn't exactly a direct sequel to that. Instead, it's following Haymitch, the character Woody Harrelson plays, and the Hunger Games that he ended up winning. If you've watched the Hunger Game movies or read the Hunger Game books, you've always known that Haymitch's Hunger Games sounded really interesting, and now to actually know we're gonna see it is awesome. They did kind of release a little title card just putting together the logo of the movie. Unfortunately though, they haven't begun filming yet, and even on stage they said that they're barely starting the casting process. I was hoping that they would announce who would be playing a young Haymitch, but besides that, they did confirm the writer of the first Hunger Games movie, Billy Ray, will actually be writing the script for this film because they really want to go back to the form and style of those original movies. I don't think the last prequel they made was bad, but the style and tone of it was very different than all the other Hunger Game films. Here they said that they're making sure that the Hunger Games arena is big, colorful, and all the tech is back, making it reminiscent to what you saw in those earlier movies. Sounds pretty exciting for me. I can't wait. Please let me know your theories on who you think they're casting as young Haymitch. Lionsgate then talked a little bit about their upcoming American Psycho remake that's being directed by Luca Guadagnino. They didn't really have much to offer or say about the movie. One interesting thing though is that they're still talking to actors about the leads in the movie, and I find that interesting because months ago it did get reported that Austin Butler would be the new Patrick Bateman that Christian Bale once played, and not that I think that's a bad choice, I just think that's too much of an easy choice. I kind of wanted somebody a little bit more inspiring or different or unexpected for the role. So I wonder if that casting is set in stone, or maybe there's still someone else that can play Patrick Bateman. Audiences were then shown a trailer for an upcoming comedy I'm really looking forward to called Good Fortune. This is going to star Keanu Reeves, Aziz Ansari, and Seth Rogen. They actually talked and showed footage of this last CinemaCon, but they're doing it again because it's finally releasing this year, where it's going to be about Keanu Reeves, who plays a guardian angel that wants to teach a lesson to Aziz Ansari because he hates his life since he's poor. He decides then to switch his life with Seth Rogen, who is a rich tech billionaire, hopefully showing him that money doesn't bring him happiness. Unfortunately though, he doesn't want to switch lives back, and this angel might lose his wings unless he can convince the guy to go back to his old life. It's supposed to be an R-rated comedy that kind of is reminiscent back to the days of like Superbad, Pineapple Express, where they're not really caring if they offend you or not. They're really just trying to make you laugh, and I feel like we do need those kind of movies now. They've been kind of lacking in theaters, so I'm looking forward to Good Fortune. Another semi-interesting movie that got announced is one called Power Ballad. This is going to be starring Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas. Audiences were shown footage of this movie, and essentially it's going to be about Nick Jonas, who plays a washed-up boy band star who meets Paul Rudd's character, who never got a chance to have a music career, and Nick Jonas ends up stealing a song from Paul Rudd, and the whole movie is kind of like a legal battle, trying to figure out who owns the rights to the song. People said it looked kind of serious and interesting. I'll wait to see the trailer for myself, but hey, all right, that's a movie coming. From there, they moved on to talk about Now You See Me 3, that has an official title of Now You See Me, Now You Don't. They did it, boys and girls. That was the #1 comment I would always get when I talked about Now You See Me 3 is, they should title it Now You See Me, Now You Don't. They listened. They heard you. It happened. Woo! They did show off some footage of the movie, so let me read you a description of what was shown. The trailer opens with a group of magicians played by Dominique Sessa, Justice Smith, and Ariana Greenblatt, who are essentially copycats of the Four Horsemen. That is, until Jesse Eisenberg's character comes in and recruits them to help steal precious diamonds to take down a tycoon played by Rosamund Pike. These movies are always kind of guilty pleasure fun. There's always sometimes logic you can poke holes at, but it's kind of cool that we have magicians who do heists. I'm always going to be down to see that. And in fact, this movie is so liked by the studio, on stage they confirmed they have plans for Now You See Me 4. So that's how much they're liking the way this movie is shaping up. So give me your best guess as to what you think Now You See Me 4 will be titled. Next up, we have a highly anticipated book adaptation entitled The Housemaid. This is going to be starring Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried, and Brandon Sklenar. The only reason I know about this is because my lady, who's a bookworm, she read all 3 Housemaid books, and she says this movie is probably going to be wild. If you're not too familiar with the book, a basic summary is the housemaid follows protagonist Millie Chloe Calloway, a down-on-her-luck woman who has recently been released from prison after losing her job and apartment. She has been living in her car, and desperate for work, she secures a position as a live-in housemaid for the wealthy Winchester family. It's supposed to be a story with a lot of twists and turns and surprises. 3 books in total. Gotta be there to support Sydney Sweeney. Now, before we get to the final thing revealed, we do have to mention the absence of the Michael movie during the presentation. This has been a highly anticipated biopic, but there's been recently a lot of weird behind-the-scenes issues, and now at CinemaCon, it feels like those issues are all but confirmed. Last year at CinemaCon, they were able to show footage and talk about the upcoming Michael Jackson biopic, but this year at CinemaCon, they were actually unable to show anything from the movie. This makes it seem like the rumors we heard months ago that they have to kind of refilm a lot of the Michael Jackson movie because they didn't know they weren't legally allowed to mention the names or bring up people who accused Michael Jackson of touching them when they were little. This was said to be a large part of the movie where it would open with this court case and it would end with it as well, and it would be kind of the looming thing throughout the course of the movie, but because of this legal issue, they now have to refilm a lot of it, looking like the movie might not actually release this year. It'll probably get pushed for 2026, and now I just wonder if the movie will even be as impactful as originally planned if they have to take out such a large plot point like that. There was also no updates or talk about the Saw franchise. People were really hoping that Lionsgate would shed some light on the recent cancellation of Saw 11, but they didn't talk about that at all. I know they probably don't have anything set in stone, but even just saying, yeah, we still plan to do Saw 11, it's down the line, or just an offhand mention would have been nice. Them not bringing it up at all should let you know not getting a Saw movie for a pretty long time. And something that is almost just funny and laughable, they did not even say a peep about The Strangers Chapter 2, a movie that's releasing this year by Lionsgate. It's a film that's already been filmed, is basically ready to go. Rumors of some reshoots to kind of fix some of the fan backlash of the last movie, but no, not even a peep about the movie. That should kind of show you how much faith they have in Chapter 2, but I'm still going to be open-minded with that movie. Just surprised they completely ignored it. But moving on to the final movie talked about during the Lionsgate CinemaCon panel is The Weeknd and Jenna Ortega's movie titled Hurry Up Tomorrow. This is also one of the rare times they actually released the trailer online for audiences after it was shown at the panel here, and yeah, the trailer looks very good. I love the style and look of the movie. Very much an enjoyer of The Weeknd's music. I guess I'm still trying to piece together the puzzle of the story, but looking at this trailer, it's really looking more like an obsessed fan who really takes the self-harm this musician is having on himself and is doing it right back to him as a form of therapy? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see, and heck, even if it turns out being bad, at least we got some new Weeknd songs out of it, right? But that is everything that was showcased at the Lionsgate CinemaCon panel. Kind of an okay panel. Later tonight, we're getting the Warner Brothers panel, and that's going to be a big one with James Gunn and the Superman movie being talked about. So don't forget to like and subscribe. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.